What's up, movie lovers? I'm Mike, and this is Gotta Love Them Movies. Oh, you guys, welcome back to another edition of Gotta Love Them Movies, your daily dose of movie news. I'm your host, Mr. Mike Brown. I'm here all the time. And guys, thank you so much for bearing with me. As you noticed, today we're starting the show at a brand new time. So I kind of decided to move the show from 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, to 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time. So if you are just waking up and turning on Facebook and scrolling through your news feed and you see my beautiful face and you're wondering but wasn't he? Yes. So we're trying out a brand new time slot. And if you're watching this on playback and you're like, but this is 3 o'clock in the morning. What are you talking about? Well, this show goes live at 10 o'clock in the morning on Facebook, East Coast time. So that's what's going on this morning. We've decided to try out a brand new, I decided to try out a brand new time slot and kind of see how that goes. Let's see how this works. I know months ago I put a poll out on Facebook saying like, hey, what's a better start time for you guys? Is it like 11 o'clock in the morning? Is it like 1? Is it 4? Kind of like what's everyone's general thought process here? So we went with 4. We went with 4 p.m. and, it was working pretty well. I just had some thoughts and saying, by the time I finish editing everything, so the show goes live from 4 to 5, right? 4 to 5:30, kind of thereabouts, right? And by the time the show ends and, then I finish wrapping up with whoever my guest is for the day, and then I sit down in my editing bay and I start, editing, not cutting things together, but just like taking the entire long video that we just filmed and then chopping it down into smaller sections, uploading, tagging, writing descriptions, all that stuff. Sometimes I'm not finished working until like 7:30, sometimes 8:30 at night, depending on how many topics we cover for that day. So I'm trying a new start time, trying to get finished with my workday earlier in the day so that I can be more productive and get other things done instead of having to like plan and do the show all day long. So this is the new start time. Welcome. Let's see how this works. And hope you guys like it. Hope you're along for the ride. And if you were watching for the first time, even if you're not watching for the first time, I highly encourage everybody to jump down to the comment section and just be a part of the conversation. You guys, I'm flying solo today. My guest that I was supposed to have on the show, I believe, is still in bed sleeping. See, this is the conundrum when you pick a brand new start time. You're like, hey, we're going to start super early in the morning. It's 10 o'clock in the morning on the East Coast, but on the West Coast, 7 a.m., right? So it's understandable. Some people may still be sleeping in. So, hey, it is what it is. It's all good. I'm just going to fly solo, and we're going to see how this goes. And before we start the show... we have started the show. Before we start, like, the movie news portion of the show, if you haven't already done so, please head over to YouTube and type in Gotta Love Them Movies. In the top right-hand corner, you will see a little red subscribe button. Go ahead and click on that button. What clicking on that button does is it helps us to widen our subscriber base. But Mike, you say, why do we need to go to YouTube and click on your YouTube? Is this bit getting old? I keep doing this voice all the time. Here's the thing, guys. With the more subscribers we get, the more watch content we have. And with the more watch content, I get to earn ad revenue, and I get to make this show my full-time job. So I very much appreciate you heading over to YouTube and clicking that subscribe button. And of course, as soon as we hit 1,000 subscribers, the show will be moving from Facebook to YouTube. So just something to be aware of on the horizon. All right, guys, now it's time to start a little bit of movie news.
What? What?
All right, you guys, let's go and take a little bit of movie news. And our very first bit of movie news comes to us from Variety. And it's bittersweet, you guys. It's bittersweet news in that The last performance by Chadwick Boseman. If you're not familiar, Chadwick Boseman, very well-known actor, popularized as his role as Black Panther in the Marvel movies. His last performance, just before he died, he was in a movie called Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. And essentially the movie kind of is like 1927. I believe it takes place in 1927. And it's the idea of Ma Rainey, who's played by Viola Davis. She's kind of like the mother of blues, right? Referred to as the mother of blues. I believe, based on a true story. At the very least, based on a book, right? So it's kind of the idea of Ma Rainey, the mother of blues, going up against, an all-white corporate-controlled music industry at the time, and saying like, no, black music has value. You can't control us. This is what we do. This is who we are. Stop trying to censor us and turn us into something that we're not. Let us represent ourselves, kind of thing, right? And of course, Chadwick Boseman plays one of the other main characters in the film, presumably one of the jazz musicians. I haven't read the book. You guys, there's a little bit of Oscar buzz going around right now about this. And I get it. It's mid-November. Traditionally, this is Oscar season. Mid to late November, early December, all through December, we've got like some of the big hitting Oscar movies coming out. This year has just been weird. I mean, to put it mildly, this year has been weird, with all of the film delays and pushbacks and, theaters closing down. Studios haven't been able to get their movies out there. If they do, sometimes it's on streaming. For the very few that are in theaters, it's hard to get word of mouth. It's hard to get these movies out into the public consciousness, because again, if you put it out on VOD, you need a lot of hubbub around that, right? I almost feel like you need more hubbub around that because you're competing with so many other streaming things. Whoever thought that a major motion picture would now have to compete with YouTube? Like, YouTube was its own complete separate entity, and now that streaming is our like main source of content these days in a COVID world. I mean, now movie theaters have to compete with stuff like YouTube. Obviously, yes, Netflix and Hulu and, Apple TV Plus and, all that stuff. But, it's just getting so complicated now. And now with this new film, Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, I believe it's coming out on Netflix. Some of the critics are, like the people who have been able to see it so far, they are singing the praises of Chadwick Boseman's performance, so much so that there's some buzz going around that he might actually win Best Actor posthumously, putting him, I believe, the third person. If he wins, again, if he does win, come March. Again, the Oscars have been pushed back from February to March. Again, if he wins, he would be the third person in history ever to receive a posthumous Oscar. So I think that's pretty cool. It begs the question, though. Because he is such a fan favorite, because people do love the human being of Chadwick Boseman so much, is it possible that some of these reports are being conflated a little bit? Maybe exacerbated slightly. Is it a good performance? Probably, yeah. It's Chadwick Boseman. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen him phone anything in. His work in Da 5 Bloods, the Spike Lee movie, just came out on Netflix earlier this year. Highly praised. But I would also argue that Chadwick Boseman's performance in Da 5 Bloods, first of all, he was not in that movie very much at all. Second of all, I didn't think it was a great movie. I know a lot of other people would fight me on that, and that's fine. Go for it. I didn't think it was a great film. Definitely nowhere near as good as BlacKkKlansman. BlacKkKlansman was fantastic. Da 5 Bloods has a lot of story problems. Definitely a lot of character issues, character problems there. And while, yes, Chadwick Boseman did deliver a good performance, he wasn't in the movie long enough to say, "Oh my goodness, can you believe Chadwick Boseman? Oh my goodness, wow." He wasn't in the movie long enough, you know? So I think, I may be projecting here. I think, being that he passed way too early in life, and he was such a beloved actor, especially for his work as Black Panther, It's conceivable that some people are blowing things out of proportion and saying, "Oh, he's such a beloved actor. Oh, we love this guy so much. And, well, of course he deserves an Oscar. Well, of course he does." I don't know. I haven't seen the movie. But if he's in the movie enough, chances are likely he's going to be great because he's Chadwick Boseman. He always does a great performance. Is it going to be the best? I don't know. We'll just have to see what the Academy comes up with to say, hey, these are the best performances. Chadwick Boseman is or is not among them. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. But the question is for you guys, what do you think? Have you heard the news about Ma Rainey's Black Bottom? First of all, it sounds like a really cool movie. I'm actually looking forward to seeing the movie. Viola Davis and Chadwick Boseman, yes, please sign me up. That sounds awesome. And 1920s jazz music? Yeah, I'm in. But what do you think about all this news and hubbub about Chadwick Boseman's possibility to earn a posthumous Oscar? Do you think it's warranted? Do you think it's too soon? I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Jump on down to the comment section below and let me know what they are. All right, guys, moving on to our second bit of movie news today. There has director Chris Columbus. He directed the first 2 Harry Potter movies. He very famously did Home Alone 1, Home Alone 2, and, a host of other films. He's a fantastic director. He's been around for a long time. Well, he has a few thoughts about the Home Alone reboot. Chris Columbus, he is not a fan of the remake, of the reboot. And I have a few thoughts to join with his. But, first of all, if you're not familiar, Disney Plus has gone ahead and greenlit, and I believe they've already started production on the Home Alone reboot, or remake. Here's how I feel about remakes. And I know everybody feels different about remakes. There's a guy that I watch on YouTube almost religiously, and his viewpoint on remakes, not entirely my view on remakes and reboots. His whole thing is, why not go for it? And if it's great, hey, we've got something even more to celebrate. And if it sucks, well then, hey, we still have the original. Like, no harm, no foul, right? I'm slightly of a different opinion there. This is where I stand. I feel like there are certain properties that are lightning in a bottle. Maybe Home Alone is lightning in a bottle, maybe not. But, I I don't think it's unfair to say that projects like Lord of the Rings, Back to the Future, Star Wars, the original Star Wars, on and on, Jaws, Jurassic Park. I don't think that it's unfair to say that these movies are lightning in a bottle. You're not going to capture, or I can't say that you're not, that you can't. It is unlikely that you're going to capture lightning in a bottle the same way, with the same feeling, or like the same type of magic that it did, that the original did, right? Now, of course, like there's plenty of sequels to Home Alone. There's plenty of sequels to Jurassic Park. There's a whole bunch of sequels to Jaws. Tons of sequels and spin-offs from Star Wars, right? And, same thing with Lord of the Rings. They did the prequels for The Hobbit, which I get is an entirely different story. That's kind of a different scenario, right? But I get it. There are certain properties that have become so indelible in the social, in all of our social consciousnesses. You know what I'm trying to say. Social consciences, however you conjugate that. That I don't think that we need to remake a lightning in a bottle kind of thing. Unless, here's my qualifier for reboots and remakes. A reboot is a little bit different, but a remake is just retelling the same exact story with the same, story progression, with the same characters. Obviously, it's other actors playing those characters, but it's the same exact story. Very, very little changes with a remake. With the reboot, I mean, take Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 1990, and then, I think you have those 3 movies, and, arguably the first one is the best of any Ninja Turtle property ever made. And then 2 and 3 were meh. But then, 20 some years later, Michael Bay comes along and reboots the franchise. And it's, hey, we have a brand new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Was it a remake of the original 1990? No, it's a completely different story. Reboots are something entirely different. So if you're going to reboot the Home Alone series or franchise, you're going to do something completely different. I guess kind of keep the same concept. Hey, the whole, it rests on the premise of there's a kid at Christmas who gets left at home. His family, whatever the circumstances, a kid has to survive on his own in his own house, right? So reboots and remakes. I'm okay with remakes and, even reboots. Here's my qualifier. As long as you have something new to say, how do you update it in a way that makes sense? Why are you doing it, first of all, and why are you doing it now? What is it about now that it's important? What do you have that's new to say? Can you elevate the subject matter? Can you elevate it? What new do you have to say? What new do you have to contribute? And this is what director Chris Columbus had to say. He actually had a lot to say about this. So buckle up. Right here in the middle of the page, Chris Columbus says, "No, nobody got in touch with me about it. And it's a waste of time as far as I'm concerned," Columbus said to Insider. "What's the point? I'm a firm believer that you don't remake films that have had the longevity of Home Alone." He says longevity. I say lightning in a bottle. You're not. Well, here you go. He said lightning in a bottle. You're not going to create lightning in a bottle again. It's just not going to happen. So why do it? It's like doing a paint by numbers version of a Disney animated film, a live action version of that. What's the point? It's been done. Do your own thing. Even if you fail miserably, at least you've come up with something original. He goes on to say, "I can even be accused of it myself with Home Alone 2, Columbus continued. That movie is basically a remake of the first Home Alone. Does it need to exist? Yes, because some of those stunts make me laugh really hard, but I just don't believe that it should be done." I feel like he's contradicting himself just a little bit. He goes on to say, "There's going to be a Stoned Alone with Ryan Reynolds. Heaven knows only what that will be. A stoner version of Home Alone? Listen, have fun. I just feel do something new. Life is short." So, I mean, director Chris Columbus, he drew the line in the sand just a little bit. He drew the line in the sand. Again, I'm all for reboots and remakes if it's for a film or a property or an IP that you really genuinely feel like we can tell a better story, we can do it again and it can be better, you know? Reboots, because again, arguably, Jurassic World is a reboot. I mean, it's also a sequel. Sequels are something completely entirely different, right? Sequels are very, very different. But a reboot, okay, I mean, we can have that argument. Remake? A remake of Home Alone? I don't think it's such a great idea. I side with Christopher Columbus in this. If they were going to do another sequel, you know how like the National Lampoon they did Vacation. They did a brand new Vacation movie. And that was okay. I mean, sure, why not? So if they were going to do another Home Alone sequel, okay. I mean, sure, why not? I don't know. I just feel like making an official declaration and saying it's a remake, we're going to try and capture lightning in a bottle again. I just don't. I mean, I don't think it's the best of ideas. It's also coming out on Disney Plus. It's not coming out for a theatrical run. It's got a few big names attached to it. I don't know. I just don't see this as being a great idea. But the question is, for you guys, what do you think of the Home Alone remake? Would you rather it be rebooted? Would you rather it be sequeled? Where do you stand on this? Are you just okay with it? Do you think it's going to be fine? Are you looking forward to it? I encourage everyone to throw out their opinions there. I'm very interested to see what you have to say. Jump on down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, guys, moving on to our third bit of movie news today, and this technically isn't movie news, it's television news. However, with the passing of the late, great Alex Trebek, there has been a lot of speculation as to who is going to be his successor, because they're not just going to cancel Jeopardy. They're not just going to stop the show. It is going to keep on going in perpetuity. I love that word, perpetuity. So, here's the thing. LeVar Burton is such a beloved icon within fandom, within geekdom, nerddom, whatever you want to call it. Yes, he played the extremely important role of Kunta Kinte in Roots. He played LaForge in Star Trek: The Next Generation, and I would even argue, most famously, LeVar Burton was the host of Reading Rainbow for 20-some years. And he's still doing it, he's still doing Reading Rainbow. LeVar Burton is a master at his craft. He's so beloved by the fans that the fans have actually come together to start an online petition. If you head over to change.org, you can probably find the petition there. But they're petitioning Sony Studios to say, you guys, come on. Like, LeVar Burton would be perfect to replace Alex Trebek. And I know there have been a lot of other names being thrown out there. George Stephanopoulos, very famously, very recently put his name into the ring to be considered. A lot of people are also talking about Ken Jennings, who is the highest rated player of all time in the history of the game. So it also kind of makes sense that, maybe Ken Jennings could take over the reins of the show Jeopardy. I mean, he's the reigning champion of all time. He had like a 76 game winning streak or something, and then he came on and did the Masters. Like, of all the sets that he's been seated in rather, he's won every single one. I don't know if he's ever lost a game. I don't know, maybe he has, but he has won more games than anyone else in the history of the show. So it kind of makes sense if Ken Jennings were to take over the reins. I personally love the idea of LeVar Burton. I think this is right up his alley. I think it's perfect. But here's what LeVar Burton actually had to say about it. If we scroll down to his Twitter feed, LeVar Burton says, "Even if nothing comes from it, I can't tell you how much. I can't tell you how I appreciate all y'all's love and support. With a little prayer hands and a heart, and again with the link of petition to make LeVar Burton the next host of Jeopardy." I think this is such a cool idea. I think this speaks to fandom. Look at me. Look at all the toys that I have behind me. Look at the clothing that I am wearing. It's no secret, I love fandom. I love this stuff, right? And I think this speaks to the best part of fandom. I think, Star Wars has become such a toxic brand of fandom because it's become so heated. Like, the Star Wars fan are some of the most passionate fans on the planet, and people speak very passionately. Sometimes it's just fun to talk that way, but sometimes they actually mean what they say, and it becomes hurtful, and it has the opposite effect. Instead of it becoming fandom, it becomes toxic, and malicious. But you guys, this is the best part of fandom. When people come together and say, here is an icon. Here is a person that we've chosen as an icon. Look at their work. Look at the stuff that they choose to do. Look at the stuff that they have been lucky enough to do and projects to receive and to get. We want this person to represent and to continue representing this part of not just fandom, but this part of entertainment. This is an area that would be perfectly suited for LeVar Burton. Whether anything will actually come from this or not, I don't know. I mean, from fandom, we did get Betty White to host SNL. I mean, that was a thing that happened. Because of fandom, we actually got a better looking Sonic the Hedgehog in the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. I'm not always behind all of the fandom movements that happen on like social media. This particular version, this particular petition, I'm all for. I'm totally behind. Yes, I think Ken Jennings would make a great host because, he knows everything, He's the best at the game. Best there's ever been. But he's also not a host. Excuse me. LeVar Burton has the experience of being a host. I think this is right up his alley. I would really love to see him play the next host of Jeopardy. Question is for you guys, what do you think about LeVar Burton playing the next host of Jeopardy? Do you love it? Do you hate it? Are you somewhere in the middle? Jump down to the comment section. Why do I keep doing that? Jump down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, guys. So as we're moving on to our fourth bit of movie news today, as I just aforementioned, Star Wars and fandom. That's actually kind of a perfect segue right into this. There is I don't want to say there's a movement. I was just talking about Star Wars fandom and, how toxic it can be, but also how beautiful fandom can be when people come together to create beautiful things. And and this is neither. It just is more of a question that hangs in the air. Will there be a sequel to the Star Wars story Solo? There was a standalone Star Wars story starring Alden Ehrenreich, however you say his name. I have no idea. He was okay. He was fine, He played a decent Han Solo. But here's the thing, you guys. First of all, nobody asked for a standalone Han Solo movie. Nobody asked for that. When Disney acquired Lucasfilm, there were a lot of questions that hung in the air. People wanted to know, who's going to replace Han Solo? Where are... let me gather my thoughts for a second. Everybody wanted to know, like, where's the Star Wars universe going? What new stories are going to happen? Is Disney going to censor certain things that 20th Century Fox wouldn't? You know, is this still going to feel like Star Wars? And then we got our first taste in The Force Awakens, and I loved it. It's not a perfect movie, not by a long shot, but I loved Force Awakens. I loved everything that's set up. I loved the promise of adventure and, like, where's this going, you know? I thought it was really cool. And then we got a few other movies. A lot of people love Rogue One. That is, to some people who have been on the show, Rogue One is their favorite Star Wars movie ever. And hey, I don't begrudge them that. And then we got Solo. Here's the thing. Here's the thing about Solo, you guys. The original directors that were hired on Solo, Lord and Miller. If you're not familiar with Lord and Miller, they did the Lego movie. They did 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street. They're comedy guys. They're comedy guys. Not just like any comedy, but like they have a really witty brand of comedy. They have a very specific brand, and they kind of take what you think is going to happen and turn it on its head. And, you know, in 21 and 22 Jump Street, they made it much more, I don't want to say lasciviousness, but, lascivious. But they made it a little bit more raunchy, you know, but in their own way, in a way that made sense for the story, right? And I was so excited when I heard that, Lucasfilm has greenlit a Han Solo standalone film. That's a story, that's a movie that nobody was asking for, nobody was clamoring for, and we're all just kind of like, why? Okay, I guess this is happening. And then we heard that Lord Miller were going to direct the film, and I was like, yes, this is going to be so cool. This is going to be so fun. They're going to like put all these weird twists and turns. It's going to be weird. It's going to be fun. It's going to be funny. It just sounded so cool. And then surprise, surprise, Kathleen Kennedy jumps in. Kathleen Kennedy, the head of Lucasfilm Studios. She jumps in and is like, whoa, what are you guys? What are you doing? This is Han Solo. This is Star Wars. What are you doing? Which, my question to Kathleen Kennedy is, what are you doing? You hired these guys. This is the movie that you agreed to make. And as they started making the movie, you're like, whoa. This is not a Star Wars movie. You're right. It was a Lord and Miller movie. That's the movie I wanted to see. And, you know, then she fired Lord and Miller. I think it was after like a week or 2 weeks. Production had just started. They filmed a little bit, not a lot, a little bit. And then she hired Ron Howard to come in and finish the movie. And it was fine. It was a good movie. It was okay. It lost money at the box office. But it was fine. It was okay. But the movie set up, you know, more stories to be told. Spoiler alert, if you haven't already seen Solo. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Darth Maul does not die in Episode 1, Phantom Menace. Darth Maul, arguably one of the best parts of the Phantom Menace. And now here in this film, brought him back. They figured out a way to kind of bring him back. I think they probably went into the extended universe and figured out, he got cut in half, but now he has robot legs and blah, 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 whatever, you know? It was a fine movie. It was okay. It's not a great film. It's all right. Alden Ehrenreich, however you say his name, he did a fine job. He did an okay job just playing Han Solo. It was okay. It was fine. But it really played a lot of fan service with very little substance. There was little substance to this movie, and I think that is large in a part to why it didn't work. So So now there's a big movement online asking, is Solo 2 going to happen? Is Solo 2 going to happen? I don't think it will. You know, there's always the fans that, you know, any movie ever will always have its fans. The Love Guru, very famously, I love this movie, but it's also one of the movies, it's the movie that basically ended Mike Myers' career. I think it's fun. It's silly, it's jokey, it's stupid. I enjoy it. I think it's a funny movie. But I'm also alone in that opinion. So any movie ever will have its fans, right? Yeah, I don't know. I don't see Solo 2 happening. It's possible, but yeah, I don't know. Do you want to hear what Ron Howard has to say? Here's what Ron Howard has to say on the subject. He says, well, there's no sequel plans now. It's amazing to be part of a Star Wars movie that seems to be... excuse me. Sorry, my reading ability is terrible right now. Well, there's no sequel planned now. It's amazing to be part of a Star Wars movie that seems to be a kind of underground hit, which is not what you'd expect, but that's been an odd, strange journey for that movie. Yeah, I mean, in some ways, it has kind of been an underground hit, you know? But not big enough of an underground hit to, I don't know, to greenlight maybe a sequel? I don't know, but the question is for you guys, what do you think? Did you like Solo, a Star Wars story? Would you like to see a sequel to Solo? Is there something else that you would like to see them do in the Star Wars universe? Jump down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, guys, we have one last bit of movie news to cover, and I think this is pretty cool. Apparently, James Gunn, who is currently in production of the Suicide Squad movie, which isn't scheduled to come out for another year from now, has just added Sylvester Stallone. That's right, Rocky, Rambo, basically list all the Cobra, list all of his other like iconic movie roles. This is the guy, like arguably one of the biggest action stars of the 80s, has now signed on to do the Suicide Squad. And his announcement was made public on Twitter. Let's scroll down to James Gunn's Twitter feed. He says, always love working with my friend, the Sly Stallone, and our work on the Suicide Squad was no exception. Despite Sly being an iconic movie star, most people still don't have an idea what an amazing actor this guy is. And it's true. Sylvester Stallone is an amazing actor. I mean, he would not have won any Oscars if Rocky was not fantastically directed, written, or acted. Like, he knows what he's doing. He knows how to do it, right? Nor would those movies have had any amount of longevity or sequels for that matter, and now a spinoff if it wasn't for the indelible performances of Sylvester Stallone and, you know, again, his writing and directing of those films. So now Sylvester Stallone has come on to join the cast of the Suicide Squad. What does this mean? I have no idea. Being that James Gunn has already worked with Sylvester Stallone on Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, Stallone had kind of it was a little bit more than a cameo appearance. He actually had a role, but it was a very small role in Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I have a feeling, I know very little about what's going on in the world, but I have a feeling Stallone's appearance in the Suicide Squad is going to be very similar to what happened in Guardians 2. He's going to play a smaller role. He's going to pop up maybe in the middle of the movie, maybe towards the beginning, maybe towards the end. I don't know. Who knows? He's going to do something, and then he'll go away. Maybe he's just going to add story. Maybe he's going to add exposition. Maybe his character is going to add stakes or maybe ground something. Maybe give one of the lead characters reason for doing something. I'm all for it. Here's the thing. The Suicide Squad has already been in production for a while. They've picked up production. They're continuing on. They're forging forward. James Gunn has carte blanche to do anything that he wants, literally kill any character that he wants to kill. And yes, that includes Margot Robbie's Harley Quinn. Warner Brothers has given him carte blanche to kill anybody he wants in this movie. I mean, Sylvester Stallone, I guess his name is on the table as well. He could be done under. Who knows? But at this stage in the game, and I understand casting happens, like as production moves forward, but that means to me, obviously he's not a main character. If he were a main character, he would have been cast, much earlier. It sounds to me like production for the Suicide Squad is starting to wrap a little bit. Just a little bit. I think they're getting close to the end of filming. And to announce the casting or the film, here's the thing. Even if they knew that Stallone was going to be in the movie like months ago, even if he was cast, let's just say he was cast in the movie a year ago. I doubt it, but let's just say he was cast in the movie a year ago. Today is the day that they're making the announcement, or I guess on the 14th. So 2 days ago, James Gunn made the announcement. They have already filmed a good portion of this movie, and they've already announced a spin-off prequel series called Peacemaker, starring John Cena as the Peacemaker, right? So there's already been a lot of hullabaloo and hubbub about this movie. Warner Brothers did their DC Fandom event many months ago now, towards the end of the summer, and Stallone wasn't mentioned, not even in the slightest. So I have to think that they are close to the end of production, and that Stallone's just going to come in, play a quick little role, maybe like a 1-day shoot, 2-day shoot, tops, and then he's going to peace out. I don't think Stallone's character is going to have a huge impact on the narrative of the story, but I do believe that his character, much like that in Guardians 2, is going to show up for a scene, a couple of scenes. He's going to do his thing, and he's going to give purpose and reason to whatever protagonist, I guess if you can call them protagonists, whatever character is driving the story. Maybe he's a father figure. Maybe he's another criminal that one of these other supervillains has looked up to in the past. Who knows? I don't know. But I definitely think that the appearance of Stallone is, it has some weight. It's going to have some gravitas. Not in a huge way, but on a very, very personal level. Question is for you guys. What do you think of Sly Stallone popping up in the Suicide Squad? Do you think he's going to have a bigger role than what I think he is? Do you think he's going to be killed off early in the movie? Do you think he's going to be cannon fodder? Do you think he's going to escape unscathed? Jump on down to the comment section below and let me know your thoughts. All right, guys, so that does it for our show today. Like I said, today I was flying solo. Usually this is the point of the show that we take live comments. We have no live comments to speak of, and I think that is large in a part due to the fact that, we got an early jump on things. So anyway, guys, like I said, thanks so much for joining. Thanks so much for being part of the conversation and for watching. If you like this video, click like. If you really like this video, click subscribe. And if you really, really like this video, click share, because that is exactly what Sylvester Stallone would want you to do. All right, guys, my name is Mike Brown. This is Gotta Love Them Movies, your daily dose of movie news. You guys, we live in a really strange world where everybody has their own thoughts and opinions, and sometimes those thoughts and opinions clash. So if you have an opportunity to infuse a little bit of kindness in the world today, please take that opportunity. If you have an opportunity to speak kind words to each other, please speak kind words to each other. And as always, in the words of Bill and Ted, be excellent to each other. I'll see you guys tomorrow.